Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and today I'm giving you a quick rundown of basically most of the Buccaneers' first round options with pick number 7. Now obviously this is not all their options, because if I were to list all of their options, then this video would be hours upon hours long, because there's hypothetically a lot of players they can take with pick number 7. This is just kind of the players that have either been rumored at one point or have been rumored more recently to go to the Bucs at pick number 7, be it in mock drafts, be it because of private visits and private workouts and whatnot, or just anything of that nature. So the first person I'm going to be talking about is Saquon Barkley. Now he is the first player of what is known as the Big Three for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, and those Big Three, I guess you could say, are players that would exceed expectations if they were to fall to pick number 7 for the Buccaneers. That would turn the draft, that would turn pick number 7 from a good pick to a phenomenal pick, because these three players are just that good. Barkley is the first one of those top three. He is the top running back in this class, a generational talent. He's been described as Ezekiel Elliott without character issues. That's a pretty darn good comparison. However, he may not be there because of the team that said that comparison, and that was the New York Giants. They hold pick number 2, and it seems like he's going to go there. It's hard to say right now. They might take him, they might take a quarterback. Nobody really knows at this point. Whatever the Giants do will more likelier than not decide the rest of the top 7 picks, I guess I should say. These top 7 picks are really intense this year, because nobody knows when the quarterbacks are going to go, who's going to go. It's a big old mess, and the Giants kind of hold that key to what's going to happen. If they don't take Barkley, I don't really see him dropping to 7, though. He would probably end up going to the Browns at 4, or he might go to the Broncos at 5. That seems like if the Giants don't get him at 2, that's probably where his slide, if you want to call it that, would stop. However, the chances of us getting Saquon Barkley, I give it like a 10 to 15%. He could fall, but I don't see it being very likely. Next is Quentin Nelson, arguably the best player in the draft, my personal favorite player in this draft, and the guy who I want for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with pick number 7. You can make a legitimate argument. Everybody's saying that Saquon Barkley is the best player in the draft overall, but you can make a legitimate argument saying that Quentin Nelson is the best player. He's got a great main streak and overall an amazing lineman. I think they described him as the best lineman prospect overall in years. The problem with that is, again, he may not be there because he's taken early. Examples of the Broncos and Colts, they both need guards, so I don't know. A lot of people are saying, why would you take a guard that early if you're the Broncos and Colts? Dude, if it's the best guard prospect in the last few years, then yeah, you might want to consider taking that. I do know that the Broncos do have some other needs. I know they do have some needs at quarterback. Maybe they end up taking Baker Mayfield. But they did just sign Case Keenum, so maybe they figure that they don't need him. And then the Colts might as well trade back. That's what I'm hoping for, or take a linebacker, because the Colts have like a really weak. The Colts have the weakest linebacking core in the league, like facts. They have like career backups as their starting linebackers right now, so they need a linebacker, and they might trade back just to acquire more picks to get more depth for their roster. So the chances of us getting Quentin Nelson, I give it like a 20 to 25% chance, because out of the big three, I think he's the most likely to drop. I certainly think that he does have a decent chance of dropping for sure. And then the final guy, the top 3, is Bradley Chubb. The final of the top 3, the top pass rusher in the draft by far. Dude's a beast. And the thing with Bradley Chubb is that there is talk that he could be going to the Browns at pick number 4. If he doesn't go to the Browns at pick number 4, you can bet that he's either going to go to the Broncos at pick number 5, and if he's there with the Colts at pick number 6, then he's going to the Colts. Like, that's happening. Which is why I only give him a 0 to 5% chance of us getting him, because there's just no way he drops to us. I know a lot of people said, like, oh, well, O.J. Howard dropped to us. Well, people value pass rusher a lot more than I think a tight end, a running back, or a guard, in my opinion. So that's why I give him such a low chance of getting him. Next is Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the top defensive backs in the draft. People are torn about where he should play, be it safety or cornerback, and that kind of tears into his draft stock. I just talked to my friend Logan about this. Logan feels that Minkah is one of the better prospects of this draft. The problem I see with Minkah Fitzpatrick though is that his versatility could be a problem because teams might not know where to use him. Remember whenever Jabril Peppers was getting all that hype because people were like, oh, we could play him everywhere, and then it was like, turns out we don't really know where to play him at all. I mean, that's just the Browns, but like, still, it could happen to Minkah. However, honestly, like, if he is one of the better defensive backs in this draft just overall, and if he is the best defensive back overall in this draft, I think the Bucs would be interested. I give him a 40 to 45% chance of us getting it. It's not the highest grade overall. Keep that in mind. It's not the highest grade overall. A lot of these after the top three all depend on whether or not the top three are there or not. You know what I'm saying? If the top three aren't there, then these chances probably go up. If they are there, the chances plummet. So, you know, if one of the top three is there, they will take one of the top three. That's just my opinion of it. However, moving on to Derwin James, the top safety in this draft, pure safety, I guess I should say, is the top pure safety. Hits like a freaking truck. Is said to be this year's Jalen Ramsey. Now, I know what you may be saying is, James, that's stupid. Who would say that? You can't say that, James. You don't know football, which is true. I don't know football. But you know who said that? Jalen Ramsey said that. So if Jalen Ramsey's saying that Derwin James is going to be Jalen Ramsey, you got to take that. You know, you got to take that and roll with it. And he's a hometown hero, and a lot of people have been giving him credit for his leadership skills. So I think Light would like that leadership in the secondary. He doesn't really have that right now, which is why I give it like a 65 to 70% chance of us getting Derwin James. Obviously, if the top three aren't there, I really am leaning more towards this being the pick, but I'm not too sure right now. But he does have the strongest odds, in my opinion, of getting picked by the Bucs with pick 7. Now we're moving on to some more, not obscure options, but some unique options. The first is V2V, top defensive tackle in the draft. Dude's insanely fast for a defensive tackle. Keep in mind, he was a former running back. That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of scary, even. He would be an amazing pairing with Gerald McCoy, and he'd really solidify that defensive line. Pretty high taking him at 7, especially considering he would be depth, though. You have Bo Allen there, you have Mitch Unrein there. They really don't... They always need better defensive linemen, but they don't need him as badly as they would need maybe a Fitzpatrick, a Derwin James, a Quentin Nelson, Barkley, or Chubb, which is why I only give it like a 15% of us getting him. It's possible, but not likely. And let me clarify this. The reason I had Barkley and Chubb's chance of getting so low is because I don't think they're going to be there. I think V2V will be there. I just don't think we're going to get him. That's the only reason the chance of getting is so like similar. Next is Darius Geis. Really high to take him on 7. People are saying he's going to go in the teens to 20s. The Bucs love him, however. They think he's an amazing, strong, in between the tackles runner. A lot of people have been comparing him to like beast mode. They say he's got a mean streak. You know, personally, I like Darius Geis. I don't know if I would take him at pick number 7, but I like him a lot. If you could trade back up in the first round, which I don't think that's that likely without having to give up a lot, and I want all of our picks. So maybe if you trade back, you can get Darius Geis, but at pick number 7, it's a little bit too high for me, which is why I only got 15% chance. I do think it is possible because I think the Bucs really do love Geis, but it's not likely. It's the same thing as V2V. It's just too high to take somebody at that point. Next is Denzel Ward, the best pure cornerback in the draft, in my opinion. He's probably better in coverage than Minkah Fitzpatrick or James. He'd fix a huge need at cornerback in the future, and he plays very smart when he covers. He plays very smart. He reads routes well. reads routes well. I'm sounding like Scooby-Doo. He reads routes well, and he can just kind of make good jumps on the ball. I like him as a cornerback a lot. Ohio State cornerbacks have been doing pretty good lately coming out of the draft, so you know that's pretty good. I give it a 25% chance of us getting him. I think it's possible. You know, it's definitely an option. I wouldn't be surprised if they took Denzel Ward here. I know people might not be that happy, but that would be a pretty okay secondary with Brenton Grimes, Denzel Ward, and Vernon Hargraves the third. I would like that secondary a lot. After Grimes leaves, you have Ward and Hargraves. I dig it. You know, I dig it a lot. So that's why I gave it the 25% grade here. Out of all these like obscure kind of guys, Ward's got the best chance in my opinion. Next is trading down. Now this option's really interesting, and I think a lot of people would like this if the big three aren't there. They would either want to trade down or they would want Derwin James. Now you could get a lot of picks from quarterback hungry teams if a quarterback's still on the board. Teams like the Bills would need a quarterback if they haven't traded up already. I don't think the Cardinals would have traded up at this point, and I don't think the Dolphins would have traded up at this point. So you could get a lot of picks back. Maybe you can get 2 first-rounders from Buffalo if they haven't traded up yet. Maybe get that third back, get a large amount of picks from the Cardinals and Dolphins, considering they don't have a lot to negotiate with. This only happens, though, if there's a couple of quarterbacks left on the board. If Lamar Jackson's the only quarterback left on the board, I don't think this happens. Not because... and the Patriots. I forgot to mention the Patriots, too. I don't think Lamar Jackson will be a bad quarterback. I just don't think that teams would be scrambling to trade up for him because they think that he will slide. You know, you might trade up for a Josh Rosen, you might trade up for a Baker Mayfield. You probably won't trade up for Josh Allen. Apparently, he might go pick number 1. It's weird. And then Sam Darnold might go pick number 1 too. But if he is there, you would definitely trade up for him. So this all depends on what quarterbacks are there. You know, it's a very difficult situation to call, and like I said, you could get that third back and get 2 players in the first if you made a trade specifically with Buffalo or New England. You get a couple of players in the first, you know. You'll have like pick 25, I think, and pick 31. So maybe you can take a cornerback and an offensive lineman there. I know Will Hernandez you could take, as well as Jair Alexander. No, people always tell me not to pronounce his name, and I never get it right. It's weird. But I give it like a 30% chance. I think if the big three aren't there, and the Bucs do get some offers, I think they consider it very heavily. Or they take Derwin James. Honestly, I don't know if they would trade. I don't know if they would trade down or take Derwin James at this point. That's kind of a tough call, but it's still an option. Now trading up. It's not happening. I give it a 1% chance. There's just no way it's happening. They're not trading up. Sorry. They're not trading up. It's just the way it is. They will not be trading up. I don't know how many times I can say that. 1% chance. No. And then finally, some random players. Just some guys to consider. Josh Jackson, a cornerback from Iowa. Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle from Notre Dame. Marcus Davenport, edge rusher, UTSA. And Jair Alexander, like I mentioned before, cornerback out of Louisville, I think. These guys are just way too high to take at pick number 7. That's why I give it like a 0 to 3% chance. You know, I'll just mess around. I'll give it like a 2 to 3% chance, just because I want it to be more likelier than trading up, because that's not happening. You know, with these guys, it's not that they're bad players, but in your mind, think about it, okay? This is how I think about it. Okay? You have the top 3. Okay? You have the top 3 who are like the top guys that we can get at pick number 7. After that, you kind of drop down a little bit in terms of tiers. You know, you drop down on that next tier. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick, Derwin James. I guess throw Denzel Ward in there too. And that's pretty much it in terms of guys that I would be more comfortable with in that second tier. You know, maybe Geis in V can be put there. Maybe, you know, you have James, you have Fitzpatrick, you have Ward, and you have trading down. That's the second tier of options in my mind. After that, you have Geis in V to V, which is, you know, and then after that, you have random guys like Josh Jackson, Jair Alexander, Mike McGlinchey, and the other guy I mentioned. I can't remember who else I mentioned. Hold on. Mike McGlinchey and Marcus Davenport. Okay, and then after that you have trading up. So there's tiers to this, man. You know, it's interesting. I'm excited. The draft's in like 2 days now. Let me know what option you would prefer most for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In my opinion, the most likely option seems like Derwin James right now, but we never know. We never know. Jason Light sometimes likes to keep his guys away from the media. He likes to like swerve us by like going to pro days and like giving really big attention to certain players. He did it with Johnny Manziel, if you guys remember, before he took Mike Evans. A lot of people thought we were going to be taking Johnny Manziel with the pick, and we took Mike Evans, and it went well for us. So who knows? That's why I put Minka Fitzpatrick so high up, is I think he might be swerving us and going the other way and taking... He might take Minka. He might take Minka if the top 3 aren't there, man. Who knows? But let me know what your guys' top options are. I'm sure a lot of you are going to say Derwin James, and that's fine. I like Derwin James a lot, you know. I think he's the most likely pick if the top 3 aren't there. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be having one more mock draft, I think. Probably one more mock draft, and then a full first round mock draft for you guys coming out Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed, and happy draft week, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.